So the iPad's got a new name, the iPad Air. A salute to the fact that this thing is light, skinny and ridiculously good looking. But perhaps more importantly and impressively, this iPad 4 on steroids manages to cram in Apple's most powerful A7 chip alongside that 9.7-inch eyeball-friendly Retina display with no compromises to performance or battery life. If you want to talk numbers, it's trimmed some of the fat and is now 20% thinner at 7.5mm. Its bezel is 43% thinner and overall it's 28% lighter, weighing in at just under 469 grams for the Wi-Fi model. This essentially makes the Air a 9.7-inch version of the iPad mini. So over the course of a movie or gaming stretch, you'll appreciate how light it is. And of course, it's still got the most premium, drool-inducing design, but its lack of immediate ports may annoy some, while its back and sides are just as prone to scratching as the Mini. No Touch ID fingerprint scanning came as a surprise, but this isn't as useful on the iPad. And talking of fingerprints, watch out for those as you prod your way around. And while you may be staring at the same screen as last time, it's the best screen we've seen on a tablet, despite the fact that some are higher res. It picks out bright, vivid and accurate colours with superb contrast and on-point viewing angles, all with a bold 4:3 aspect ratio that's perfect for videos, web pages, ebooks and apps. Everything from crisp 1080p rips to YouTube looks pretty damn good. Now, when we originally reviewed the iPhone 5S, we were still waiting for apps that would take advantage of its powerful 64-bit processor and M7 co-processor. But just over a month later, Apple and third-party developers are really starting to harness that extra power. iWork and iLife apps, which now come free, have been redesigned for iOS and optimised for 64-bit. It's not quite in Google Drive territory, but Pages, Numbers and Keynote docs can now be worked on and edited collaboratively with anyone you send the link to on an iPhone, iPad, Mac or PC via the iCloud editor. This makes them more useful by opening them up to Macs and PCs, and it's the strongest signal yet that Apple is well on the way to making tablets that really can replace your laptop. It's not quite there yet, of course, but it's a step in the right direction. Editing HD movie in the iMovie app has been turned up a notch by packing in tons of extra features, while iPhoto has been given a fresh look that puts the image centre stage, complete with intuitive editing tools and seriously speedy applications, crops and effects. GarageBand looks more familiar, but the new version has plenty of neat tricks, like recording up to 32 tracks on 64-bit iPads and interactive drum effects. Showcase tricks include enhanced reflections and shadows in the gorgeous Infinity Blade 3, real-time key matching in DJ2 for silkier sounding mashups, 720p video decoding in VJ, and real-time karaoke effects in Smule Sing. Now, of course, the list isn't huge at this stage, and despite the lack of existing software that will take advantage of this architecture, it's still pretty exciting to think about all the killer apps that will arrive come 2014. And with dual-band Wi-Fi and MIMO tech to speed up browsing, the iPad is also our favourite surfing companion, with snappy page loads and downloads of iBooks and big games. And apart from getting a little hot after a long stretch of Infinity Blade 3, the Air absolutely kept its cool. That means you can look forward to zero stutters no matter what you're doing. Everything else in iOS 7 runs as slickly as ever, while jumping in and out of apps is stutter-free. The Photos app now offers overviews of huge libraries of snaps, long pressing words in Safari brings up definitions, the Contacts, Notes and the Music app have all been cleaned up, and the music player controls in Control Center work brilliantly. Then there's AirDrop, which pops up as a sharing option to transfer files between iOS devices, and to a degree makes up for the lack of NFC. With more of a push towards the cloud, it would have been great to see a unified AirDrop system that really brings together iPads and iPhones with Macs and MacBooks. Most of our iOS 7 gripes, though, surround the limitations of notifications and Control Center. They're steps in the right direction, but it's still next to useless compared to the equivalent Android and Google Now alerts, and the lack of resizable interactive widgets is not going to suit most Android users. But the App Store is still the most supreme, despite fierce competition from Google Play. It has more optimised apps than Google Play has tablet apps, plus the iPad is one of the only slates alongside the Nexus 7 II to get 1080p streaming via Netflix. Now, the camera may not have been involved in Apple's upgrade plans, so no slow-mo or burst mode, but its 5-megapixel camera still captures more detail than rival tabs. Colours aren't as accurate as the best smartphone cameras, but it's still a pretty respectable backup. And its 1.2-megapixel front-facing camera shoots slightly smudgy indoor selfies, but things start to look a lot clearer during Skype calls. And best of all, you're now looking at all-day battery life, possibly 2 days with moderate use. That's with brightness not whacked up to full pelt, which is excellent considering its heavy-duty spec sheet. So the new iPad Air is as clever, polished and reliable as it is desirable, but extra storage is expensive. Plus, there's not a lot of content currently available to take advantage of that souped-up processor. But that Retina display, App Store and its new physique ensure the latest iPad remains on top. So, unless a dockable keyboard is a must, the Air has only one tablet to fear. And that's the iPad Mini 2. Now, if you want the full lowdown, make sure you read our full fact review on stuff.tv.